Hello everybody, welcome to Working Wisely with Workstreams.ai. It's our March edition, and this time we decided that we will not be showing you our interface, but we will ask ourselves some important questions, starting with what is a work-life balance for each of us sitting around the table. I'm joined by our short, small team in Berlin. It's not all of us, but some of us who are allowed and able to join today. And let's have a quick chat about what is a work-life balance to each of us. So maybe I'll start as I have the word. For me, the work-life balance is like this apple. It has a fixed, reliable routine, but it's flexible enough for the conditions. And that's, I believe, what we need to all aim for, to find a way how to have reliable structures which we can all work in, but that structure needs to provide a space for our non-work related needs, which are as important as the work results, and squeeze them in the right portions so they always work in the right balance. And for each of us, it might mean something different, yet we should not keep seeking this balance. And I pass the word to Corner.
Hey, I'm Nick. I'm a software engineer here at Workstreams. And for me, work-life balance, I think my answer on this question might have changed since we switched to a nearly fully remote setup for the last couple of years. But what I find now is I feel quite balanced knowing that I have a trust amongst myself and my teammates, knowing that they know I will get my work done even when they don't see me, and no matter what hours I keep, and vice versa. And to that makes me feel like quite balanced between my life and my work. And I will pass it to Lucas.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I'm Lucas, also a software engineer at Workstreams, and I'm not necessarily thinking about like, okay, what means work-life balance for me in day-to-day business. It's more about like, okay, what do I want to do, and when I can do it, and I think that basically comes down to what work-life balance means to me. It's I can take the time that I need for my hobbies, for traveling, for whatever else I want to do, while, as Nick also mentioned, having the trust across the team and from the company that I get my work done, I get my hours in, and that's it. And I would pass it to Christoph.
Hi, I'm Christoph. So this is my first day at Workstreams, actually. I joined as a designer. And, well, thinking about the question, I think what's important about balance is that Roman said this already a little bit, but flexibility, I think, is the most important thing, so that when your work, so to speak, cuts into your life, or your life, so to speak, cuts into your work, that, makes both of them a little unpleasurable. So I think that if you can somehow manage to, have a workplace and have a life where you can kind of shuffle things around all the time in order to make both of them work, and your environment in both cases sort of allows for that to happen, then that's going to be a much better experience than if you're just, super set on when one thing happens and when the other happens. On the other hand, of course, you also have to have some boundaries. And I think that's also important to establish those. But yeah, I think the key is really the flexibility between the two. So that 1 week I work a lot, maybe, I do overtime, I do this, that. There's a lot to do. And then, when there's nothing to do or less to do, then maybe you can, relax a little bit more. So it's more cyclical. It's not as constant as like a, contract would have you believe. I think that's like the key to it. And I will now pass it on to the lady.
Hi, I'm Ariana. And work-life balance to me is prioritizing things that you want to do in your personal time, like cooking dinner at night for your boyfriend or girlfriend, going to the gym, learning German, and these kinds of things, so that you prioritize things equally in your personal life as you do in your professional life. during the day. So I think it's really important. What about you, Bruno? What do you prioritize?
Well, give me my apple and I give you the answer. Yeah, what as Christopher was saying, that flexibility, you know, more important is to have a place to give us that proper information, which it's very important to have a legitimate information. Oh, you are kind of in a comfortable zone to enjoy yourself. So have a work stream place to give me that loyal information to rely myself and my family and all my process. It's such a thing give me the feeling of life and balance, you know, like have a place to give me the truth of myself. I'm truly busy or I'm free, you know. So that is a change, you know, like it's organically, you know, following your process. So, but a place to verify that, it's a place, and I'm very glad to work on that. Yeah, give back to Roman.
Thank you, Bruno. Interesting. Now, if we were supposed to go a little bit deeper on the topic, what do you think about the currently unbalanced setup of 5 days work, 2 days weekend? What would you do about it? Okay.
4-day weeks? No.
Why not?
I think we kind of do it in our company anyway. Say you are contracted 35, 40 hours, whatever, but you have the ability to push more hours on different days, and then maybe you could actually have a 3-day weekend. So, I mean, I know you do a lot of overtime. I'm sure you could do a 3-day weekend. What about you, Lucas?
I'm also for the 4-week, 3 days. But like what you said, it comes down like, okay, if I want to have a longer week and that I can push in some hours ahead or maybe afterwards so that I get a shorter Friday, shorter Monday, or maybe take off the day completely so that I can go whatever I want to do. I think that maybe in long term this will become more popular, especially because the remote work we are now kind of used to after 2 years will in some way or form stay. So a hybrid model will be, and that with this things like 4 weeks, 4 business day weeks will be more present, I think. Nick?
Not totally sure what the question is.
What do you think about 5 to 2 days of work / play?
Yeah, I mean, I had previously worked 4 days a week, and that was nice. 5 days a week was a little bit of adjustment, but it's not much of a difference, actually, especially when you like what you do. And when there's, like we were already talking about, when there's some trust and flexibility with the team anyway, you start to see the true indicator of your worth is not so much how many hours are you online or how many hours are you doing X, Y, or Z. It's the value of what you do. And it's kind of hard to measure that in time with certain tasks, I find. So maybe thinking about how we measure working worth changes in the future. Just a thought, and probably let Christoph answer next.
Yeah, and you kind of stole my answer actually. Because I was going to say that I think that, you know, measuring work output in time is ridiculous for especially creative professions. Just I have like a little story at uni. I was once like coding like a little exercise, like a little like school exercise essentially. And I remember I sat there until like 11 at night. It took 4 hours, it just didn't work. I was just trying everything. And I went to sleep. I came back rested, and I got it done in 5 minutes. So, which was worth more? The 4 hours that I was tired, and I was not getting anywhere, or the 5 minutes where I actually finished it. So, that's why, like the time invested in itself is absolutely no indicator of the value of the work that you have done. So I think, that's what we should be focusing on, is like, what is my output? How am I helping others? Am I useful to my work? Or, same thing in private life, right? I mean, if I mow the lawn, but, my girlfriend already mowed it, then what's the point? And, that's also a completely useless thing to do. So this is true for everything. Like, time in itself is not a measure of anything.
Back to Roman.
Got it. I think that it's really, really inspiring to hear ideas, even though just from 4 people, we already see quite a range of ideas and possible solutions. I think we should go deeper on that and question whether it should not be the other way, not 4 days working and 3 days off, but 3 days working and 4 days for personal goals. As some of us have a family, some of us are addicted to certain sports. It's super important to pursue your dreams. And if your dream is to achieve more work results, then you can always work 7 days a week. I've done that in the past as well. And I also done a decent amount of traveling when I haven't worked for 6 months, and this feels great too. It's all about seeking the balance, and whenever you feel you have it, eventually you lose it again. So you need to keep seeking it. I also believe there might be alternative way in working less hours yet every day. And it might be close to what Christoph said. Just get those 5 minutes of super creativity and don't waste hours sitting behind a computer not getting it. If it's not there, you will not find it. And the good benefit of German system is if you work every day 4 hours, you still get the full amount of holiday. So we should not forget that. And I think there's one more question I would like to ask in the group, and that is, how can the office presence contribute to work-life balance? Ariana?
Could you repeat the question?
The office presence contributes to the work-life balance.
How does it?
Yeah. Or doesn't it, I guess.
Good question. So I think a hybrid work setup for sure contributes to work-life balance if you're obligated to be in the office for five days per week. I think that's a life that we all had 2 or 3 years ago, and agree that we're probably getting better work-life balance now, being able to have the option to go to the office if we want to. I don't believe a full remote setup would help me achieve work-life balance, because then I find it difficult to really differentiate or distinguish between my workplace and my home life. So yeah, I think riding the fine line between a hybrid work setup is definitely what helps us achieve that work-life balance.
Yeah, I think I would agree that I found a lot of benefits in working from home in terms of spending time with my wife, and being able to take a walk in the neighborhood to run some errands if I need to, or being able to pick up the guitar when I'm stressed out and need to think about something. But the benefit of coming to the office, of course, is that you develop a life relationship with your coworkers, when if you only worked at home, you would only have a work relationship with your coworkers, and it's a little bit hard to have those lines not be so distinct in a purely remote setup, I think. Not really sure why. We're taking steps here at the company actually to develop more like organic relationships with the people that live in Azerbaijan or Vietnam, and even though everybody's on the same page and sees the value, it's still somehow hard to actually to get it feeling as natural as it is to just get in the office and drink a beer with your coworkers. So I would agree that I think the hybrid work setup has proved to be really nice, and I'm pretty excited if the future continues that way. Christoph?
Thanks. Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to always have a hybrid work setup, more or less, when I worked for a company. Obviously, as a freelancer, you're always working from home. I think I want to go back a little bit with you, Sariana, that I think what's important is that if you're working from home, and I think a lot of people are finding this out, you still need to designate a place for your work at home. So it's totally different if you have an office at home or if you're just working from home on your couch. It's completely two different things. So I think that's just your point. And as for the question, I think that it's really that the workplaces will also have to change a little bit, because I think that there are these like moments of like focused work that are actually better when you're at home. You don't have to speak to anyone. And I think that the workplaces will become less, like right now here also, we have these desks, but we're only here because we want to have a workshop, right? So I think that the spaces will have to adjust to this type of work more, and then their contribution will be even larger. And that will also kind of fix the problem that I think Nick mentioned a little bit, because, if you have to do like a larger workshop, you can fly everyone in, you do that maybe every couple of months or something. And then you do develop some type of physical relationship also. But I think the office will become more and more a place where you assemble to complete a certain task that can be completed together. And then you go back home to, do the stuff that is better to do alone. I don't know who hasn't spoken.
Thanks. Yeah, I basically can copy that. That the office is kind of where you meet people, where you socialize and share information, need to collaborate with people, and for the work you maybe need more focus, more time on your own to dig through whatever, some code in my case maybe, or some data. You have the place at home where you can concentrate and not get dragged by, or every 5 minutes by someone else, the table across the room. So that's basically where I think it will go, and where I see, or what I wish would be the case, that these places become more like, okay, where you can meet people. Obviously that requires some coordination, because people might tend to go to the office on different days, and you probably, from a company point of view, you want to have this office time, because yes, there's probably enough work to do to constantly be at home and do things on your own, but it is definitely also beneficial if someone, or if the team is together and stays at the coffee machine and shares some ideas. And
Right. So let's wrap it up. It's really great to hear that the team is thinking, or I would say, really the same on the topic of office and work-life balance. I personally also believe that the office is still should be a certain part of the work, and these 2 years which we were forced to be out of office show us that we should really rethink the purpose of the space and reinvent what are the benefits of being together, and maybe leave computers at home when we come to work together and have a human interaction. With that said, I would like to thank everybody who has joined this round. Let's do this more often. And last but not least, I would say maybe the opposite, super important. It would be great to hear from you. What is work-life balance for you, and how would you suggest the world should change, that we can all achieve better work-life balance? Thank you, and see you in April.